All right, we are looking good. Let's maybe hold on. Make sure we got good on audio, and then we'll get going. Check one, two. All
All
right,
right,
we are looking good. Yeah, we're a little loud. If anything, we can go down a little bit. Um, let me see if I could turn that down. It's actually not too piercing. If anybody's in the freaking chat, I'm trying. I sound goofy as hell, but if anybody's in the chat and it's loud, let me know and I'll turn it down. But here we go, guys. Let's go. Week 7 emergency options and deep sleepers. Now we're not going to do new format, FYI. As I sit here so I'll give you guys a breakdown. Right, every Friday night I sit here and I do my grades for the weekend. I go through all the matchups. I go through all the players, and the thing is, I could do that live. But the way I do it is like sort of a I don't know. It's just call it autistic or whatnot, but um, it's not like it's not meant for some TV or to be streamed. It's not really entertaining. It's very boring. It's entertaining to me, but it's just something I do for my own personal gain. Just getting ready for my league, setting my lineups, this and that. Um, and to do that again with starts and sits and bring all the freaking players and talk it all again, it's just like, man, it's boring as hell for me to watch it. Um, it's boring as hell for me to do it. Excuse me. And I know for sure, uh, you guys aren't watching an hour 30 of me sitting there going through all the freaking matchups when you only got players on half the team. So, guys, if you got start and sit questions, go to the Discord. Okay, join the Discord. Link in the description. Um, sign up. $5 a month, and I'll answer every single start and sit question known to mankind. Okay, every single one. Um, so fire away whatever you got in there. But what I think you guys love hearing me talk about, and I think it'll be a lot more entertaining. I could just hear it when I watch back the waiver shows. Just there's a lot more excitement in my voice and a lot more. I just feel like analysis overall is when I get into these deep sleepers. Okay, I don't think there's anybody better in this industry when it comes to the deep sleepers than your boy Showtime. Nobody. Okay, we absolutely kill it. And this chair is gonna once I win some leagues, I'm gonna throw this chair out into the street and get rid of it. So sorry about that. But um there is nobody better at deep sleepers than me. And I think it's the results show in the videos. I mean, you guys have been showing a lot of love on these waiver videos, and I do appreciate it. Which is why I hope we get some guys over on the Discord just to get a little community going. And then of course I'll answer every single question you ever want when it comes to fantasy, and then maybe some other stuff if that's where the conversation goes. But um, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. But regardless, that's where I specialize at, and that's what we're going to give you guys going forward. Emergency options to deep sleepers. So a lot of you guys right now, injuries are fucking ridiculous. Let's just be honest, and I don't mean to curse, but it's just the truth. And then we got bye weeks on top of that. So uh, you guys need replacements. You're down bad, and I got you. Okay, you're in luck because I got you. So we're gonna go through similar to how we do for the waiver wire show. We're gonna go through quarterback replacements, running back fill-ins, wide receiver fill-ins, tight end fill-ins. All right, multiple guys at each position that are on the waiver wire on a 12-man league. All right. I mean, if you guys are having trouble finding guys in a 10-man league or below, then you're a donkey. All right, but 12 man and deeper, 14 man. I understand it's challenging. We're gonna go deep and we're gonna try to find some guys. And I'm gonna find a. We're gonna do our deep sleepers at the end, where I pick two or three guys that are sitting in the free agency pool right now. They're under. They're like under 15% owned. Okay, on Universal across this, they're probably in your 14 and even 16 team leagues if you guys are playing in those. But 90% of you guys are playing in 12-man leagues, and I have a 7-man bench in my league, which is a little bit most leagues have 6-man benches. I have a 7-man bench, so I know if these guys are available in my league, they're probably available in your league. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the quarterbacks, where we're going to go right off the bat. My first emergency fill-in this week is Spencer Rattler. I know I just picked the top guy off the projections, but I'll tell you what, guys. People forget that Spencer Rattler was a 5-star recruit. Spencer Rattler had a lot of talent in him, and just kind of slipped through the cracks because people thought he had a poor attitude because he had this stupid documentary that came out about him in high school, and with him and the other quarterbacks, and he was being a tool on there. Then he kind of lost the Oklahoma job to Caleb Williams, and then basically got booted out. But he went to South Carolina. I thought he redeemed himself last year, not too well, but he's a little bit of an undersized guy, and surprisingly, he's not that fast. But he has some talent, man. And then you look at the season stats so far: 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. It's not anything that's like, oh my god. A lot of it is pretty conservative, but he's not damaging the Saints. I mean, it's not just like the Saints should. If you told me Spencer Rattler was going to be most people out there, Spencer Rattler was going to be the starter, week one, he would just say it could be an absolute train wreck, and it hasn't. I mean, he's been able to keep the ship together, and this week going against the Bears are not a good defense. Okay, there's nothing about that defense that's good whatsoever. They can't cover and they can't rush the passer. So I think this will be a very comfortable game for Spencer Rattler, and the Saints for fantasy overall are not bad options. I mean, Olave and Shaheed, even though they're probably frustrating, Juwan's probably faded at this point because they have Taysom Hill coming back with his nonsense. But with the Saints, they're always going to be behind, and they're always going to be playing fast, and that usually equates a lot of fantasy points. So when it comes to Spencer Rattler, man, for a fill-in, I'm all over him. Backup quarterback, I've considered it. In 12 mans, I don't think he's rosterable long term, but emergency option fill-in, absolutely. I think Spencer Rattler is a perfect pickup. Let's see who else I had on I wrote down some guys. I'm just gonna go bounce back, or I say bounce back. We'll go look at my list. How about we talk a little bit about C.J. Stroud? I mean, let's see what his roster shape. I think he got picked up in this league, but I think C.J. Stroud, he's 53%. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I didn't think that would be the case. He had that big game against the Ravens, so I guess that's what got him picked up a lot. Bryce Young, not a bad. I was also considering Bryce Young. I just don't think when you're playing against the Jets, you really don't have to pass the ball because the Jets have 0 passing game. So I don't think they're really going to ask Bryce Young to do much. I could easily see this being like how he was against Miami. He's going to throw the ball 25 to 30 times, keep it in front of him, score 12 to 15 points. So it's not really a lot of ceiling. I think with Spencer Rattler, he's really my number one fill-in because you have a pretty high ceiling with him. Tell you what, my last guy, I mean Dylan Gabriel. Even though he's going against Miami, I just can't do it. And then there's also supposed to be a hurricane during that game, so I can't. No way. My last guy, I'll tell you what, guys, there'd be nothing more hilarious this weekend than if Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz, he's a bum. Okay, let's just be honest. I mean, Kevin O'Connell's a hell of a quarterback coach. He's trying to keep it all together. But if you watch that game, the London game against Pittsburgh, Carson Wentz is a bum. I mean, in Cleveland, he really was just keeping. I mean, he really wasn't doing much in that game, to be honest with you. But I will forever and always believe Carson Wentz is a bum. But it would be freaking hysterical. Oh no, they're at home. But it'd be hysterical for him to beat the Eagles, man. That would send the filthy media into a tirade. That would be hilarious. All right. And I'll tell you what, Minnesota's a desperate team. They're a very, very desperate team. I know they beat Cleveland, but they kind of want to get going. This is a team that has a lot of talent on this team. They just don't really have, look at this depth chart right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me make sure you guys can see it. You see it a little bit, but I mean, look at this depth chart. I mean, they got receivers, they got tight ends, they got defensive backs. They got linebackers, they got pass rushers, they got interior linemen. I mean, they got everything on this freaking team. I mean, it's a good team. They just aren't getting all that from the quarterback. But Filthy's a team that's completely reeling. Was really the biggest shocker watching Filthy get spanked by the Giants is their defense is not that good this year. They're a little bit slower. They look a little bit tired. I mean, Jalen Carter, I know he missed the game, but um, they're just not that good on defense this year. It's very surprising. I mean, let me look up their numbers right now while I got this in front of me. Let's see, and we'll just go simple stats, yards per game, because that's probably what I could pull up the fastest. Filthy defense, 21st in the league in yards per game, 19th in the league points per game, 12th in the league passing yards per game, 26th in the league in rushing yards allowed per game. So you could definitely see a play action pass type of game. But I mean, look, Carson Wentz probably doesn't like Filthy. I'll tell you that. He probably wants to get a lot of revenge against him. So um, I could definitely see him going in there with a vengeance. Kevin O'Connell on his side and all those players around him. I mean, he's got Addison back now. Never know. I'd rather have Spencer Rattler, but I think Carson Wentz is a very, very interesting fill-in. If you guys are in a pinch, he's probably out there in 14, 16 team. I can't imagine anyone's picking him up. But we'll move on at this point over to the running backs. Running backs get a little interesting. That's where we're gonna kind of have to dig a little bit because you're not really getting big time fill-ins coming in here. Let's see. Jeremy McNicholas is interesting. If you guys are, in a pinch, I'm not opposed to him considering he's playing the Cowboys. Everybody scores on the Cowboys, and Krosky Merritt had that fumble. You never know if they're going to switch to a rotation. Rodriguez is hurt, so McNicholas is all they got, and I could definitely see him getting pass game work. I mean, doing a bunch of screens with Kingsbury, I could definitely see that happening. I mean, Washington's down 2 receivers. They don't have McLaurin officially got ruled out. Debo's questionable. I don't think Debo's going to play either. So they're going to have to get the running backs going in a quick pass sort of game because they really don't have any other receivers. They got Zach Ertz. I apologize, guys. It's late, and I was holding that back for about 20 minutes. But they got Zach Ertz, who's also questionable. So McNicholas might be all they have. I mean, picking a running back, picking players that are going against the Cowboys defense, we could pretty much put them in the same category as what I ranked Miami's defense as, to just, pick players that are going against them. Emmanuel Wilson's another player I definitely would keep an eye on. Josh Jacobs is hurt, and he's one of those players that's going to be hurt probably for the rest of the year on the injury report, but he's going to play through it because he's tough as hell. He's got an illness, got calf, so it's 2 things bugging him. I mean, you never know. You truly never know. So I don't think he sits this game, but you truly never know. We've had already this season, we've had multiple players to where they're just, an hour and a half before the game, well, he's inactive. Multiple times that's already happened, and we're only in week 6, so who's to say it can't happen again? But that would be a huge, huge, huge spike if that happened to Emmanuel Wilson. He would go from about 5 projection to at least 11 or 12. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Cardinals backfield, don't waste your time. And I would say that's pretty much it. I mean, the only other guys I could think of are guys that are probably already on rosters. Another like Tyjae Spears. How many times did we get to talk about him? He's finally creeping up to 50%. Guys, if he's out there, pick him up yesterday. Okay? He's the number 1 back in Tennessee. I know that's not sexy. I mean, Tennessee's a dump right now, but he's getting checkdowns. Like, this is a very fantasy viable player. Another guy, Kendre Miller. No way he should be on the free agency pool. I mean, I think a lot of people probably dropped him after this last week. It was disappointing. Kamara's coming into this game a little bit banged up. Chicago's defense is not that good. Their run defense is horrible. So get on Kendre Miller, guys. Let's move on let's go to receivers. Number 1 receiver fill-in this week is Jordan Whittington. The thing is, he's probably on a lot of waiver wires out there because he's strictly a 1 week rental. I mean, they're going to go into the bye, and Puka's going to come back, and he's not going to have a role after that. So, Tutu Atwell's another guy. I guess we'll kind of bring them up. I don't know if you could have. Can you have two players go inside? Yeah. Huh. I never knew that. Shout out to Sleeper. So both of these guys, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, I guess both the Rams fill-ins, going against the Jaguars defense that their defensive backfield is a little weird because they had this trade where they traded their second round pick for the Browns first round pick a few years ago. It was a weird trade. It was like NBA style. I don't understand that. Um, and they have Travis Hunter who's part time over there, so they're kind of just like moving a lot of guys around that defensive backfield. It's a complete mess. They've been getting a lot of turnovers, but they're not stopping yards. And when it comes to the Rams, they're a team they'll exploit stuff like that. Those turnover, hungry teams. I mean, I've seen it too many times with my team being the Cowboys. I've seen that many times. Teams that rely on turnovers. When you have coaches like Sean McVay coming in there, they're going to know to scheme around that and just say, all right, we're going to keep it underneath. We're going to go horizontal. And good luck trying to get the ball from us. We're not going to put it in dangerous territories, throwing it deep, throwing it over the middle. We're just going to keep everything, side to side in a sense. So that's where Tutu to run him on those crossers. I mean, run him on those wheels. I mean, he's fast, and then Whittington's sort of like a diet Puka in a sense. He's on the field all the time. I mean, he's not all the way to a Puka Nakua, but the guy's shown he's got some game. He played at Texas for a long time, so uh, kind of a deep sleeper last year. Never really got to see the field. He actually did a little bit, but it's more so on a special teams role. But year two, we might see something. I mean, this could definitely be. You want to bet on Rams guys. I mean, I've said this many times, guys. It's not a bad idea to bet on Rams players. Rams players get the job done, point blank. Period. They just they can. They're league winners. They're league winners. So we could go litanies of examples that probably aren't applicable just because we're talking about emergency options, but if you guys are in a pinch, don't feel bad having to pick up one of these guys. These guys are very startable this week. Both of them, one of them should be at least on your waiver wires. Probably Whittington, who's even projected more. Um, but get on him. Another guy we'll talk about. He's probably got picked up in a lot of leagues at this point. Let's see what he's at. Tez Johnson. He's at 22% rostered, so he might have slipped the cracks. He probably got picked up on a lot of waiver wires out there, but uh, small guy, athletic guy, fast. I mean, he had a 4.5 40, but he's way faster than that when you watch him play. He's basically the penciled in number one receiver. I mean, no Godwin, no Evans, no Igbuka. Or I think Evans might play if I'm not mistaken. Granted, I don't have any Bucks players, so. Oh, no practice on Friday. Okay, so that's 50-50 as of right now. Regardless, you're going to still see a decent amount of volume for Tez Johnson because um, that's somebody's got to play. You got to have at least two receivers on the field, point blank period. And Tampa's a very nickel heavy team, so 11 personnel heavy team, so they'll definitely have three receivers on the field a lot of the time. Tez Johnson was very viable. If you watched the game last week versus the Niners, he had that incredible touchdown and then did the backflip. I mean, that was pretty athletic. So um, for a fill-in, I'd be all over this guy. I think this guy's a great fill-in. And kind of just slipped the cracks because he was a smaller guy who ran a bad 40 in the draft. But I thought he was more of like a late day two type of pick, a third or fourth round player. He fell all the way to the seventh round. So I think Tampa got a steal there. And another thing, kind of like betting on Rams players, I bet on Tampa receivers with the way Baker's playing, guys. I mean, you got to give Baker a lot of credit. He's balling. He's flat out balling. And I want to bet on receivers that or that Baker's throwing the ball to. So with Tez Johnson, sign me up if I'm in a pinch. Um, Last guy we'll talk about, if I'm not making sure, is Luke McCaffrey. He's going to be the number one receiver this week going against the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs, I don't want to go on a rant about the dude, but the guy's a goofball. He's just flat out goofy. I don't know what the hell he did, but he has a concussion from running into a wall at his house. I don't know what I don't know what the hell that was about. It's honestly goofy. But point blank period, he ain't gonna play. So not only you got, I mean, he was not like he was playing good anyway, but he's going up against a backup corner for the Cowboys. I think he'll do okay. He has 3 touchdowns over the course of the year. It's a prime opportunity for him to go into Rice where he played college football. That's more so I think in Houston, but um, go back to Texas and show what he's worth. And I think he could very well. I could definitely. This is a perfect player that I could see having a day against the Cowboys defense. It almost makes too much sense to be honest with you. So get on Luke McCaffrey if you're desperate. Those guys, I think that's enough, guys. You guys should be confident in those receivers, and let's go over finish off with some tight ends. We'll start off, excuse me, with Arande Gatson. We've talked about him on the waiver wire show. Still under 10% in leagues, and probably a guy I'll have as my very first deep sleeper. Um, I don't know if Tyler Conklin, Will Disley, now that those guys are healthy, they're going to come back and take snaps away. I really hope not. And a lot of people also were saying, "Oh, Quentin Johnson was out, that's why you got the increase." And then, of course, as we call it on the show, the Miami boost. He got the Miami boost last week playing against the Dolphins, so that's why he had 11 points. But and he had that fumble late in the game too. That's why it should be 13. But Aronde Gatson showed he was going to be a big target over the middle. He's exactly what you want as a receiving tight end. I could see him. I said this on the Tuesday show that I think he could be a round 8 pick next year in drafts. And usually when guys are that, it's because they do well the previous year. They show signs of doing well. So he's a guy I want to bet on. And he's still probably sitting out there for free in a lot of your leagues. So get on Aronde Gatson, guys. I'm not saying he's going to go crazy. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and have 15 points. All right. This is an emergency option show. This isn't, breakout player show, superstar show. That's not what this is, guys. What we're looking for these guys is to come in, 10 points. Thank you for your service. Go back to the waiver wire. That's it. And if they do more than that, then we are legends. Okay, for scraping the bottom of the barrel when it's 1 o'clock in the morning and your league mates are asleep. Okay, and we're finding gems. So just to be clear, that's why I love talking about it. I love doing it. But when I talk these guys up, I already can hear some idiot. Oh, you think he's gonna break out? Oh, he's gonna do this. It's emergency option. If these guys don't do anything, we put them right back where they belong on the waiver wire. But hey, I think there's some guys that can contribute. So anyway, back to around to finish him up. I think I already made my point about him, but uh, Dad was a receiver in the league. This guy is, I think he's just perfectly tailored to be a pass catching tight end in the league and do damage. Another tight end out there, Ja'Tavion Sanders. So we've already talked about him plenty on the waiver wire show. He's still under 10% waiver, which on 10% roster, which is silly. This guy should be rostered in all leagues, 12 man and up. At least as a backup tight end, if you're in one of those Brock Bowers, Kincaid, you know, Hawkinson type of situations where you have a tight end letdown. I think Ja'Tavion Sanders is a perfect candidate. I mean, this game right here is kind of what I harp on. I know a lot of it was garbage time. And then the Atlanta game, they got up 30-0 and they didn't pass the ball at all. Then he's been hurt ever since. But he is the number one pass catching tight end for the Panthers. I think he would have had a big game against the Cowboys had he played last week, but unfortunately we didn't get to see that. But he's finally back, and you know we're still looking at Carolina. They don't. I mean, aside from Tet, they have nobody. Leggett is an idiot. I'm done on Leggett, and I already explained. When doing that lateral play, that just shows this guy has no IQ for the game. He's an idiot. And then Jalen Coker, who's interesting. Uh, let's see what he looks like. He's coming off an injury that sounded pretty serious, so might take him a little bit. But Jatavion Sanders has shown he could be the number 2 target for the Panthers already. So I think him and Bryce Young got a little something going. I really would keep an eye on Jatavion Sanders. Another guy we'll talk about who's probably filling up now, but yeah, he's at 30% roster. But guys, Cade Otton, I mean, I didn't even think to mention him first just because I thought he wouldn't be out there. But if he's out there, go get him. Last year, okay, 2024, scroll down right here. When Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were gone, and basically when one of them were gone, he had huge, huge games. Okay. When Godwin, Ibuka, and Evans are all there, Otten's irrelevant. When two of those guys are missing, Otten is a huge player. Okay. And on top of that, who's his quarterback? Baker Mayfield. He's had 10-point games in each of the last 2 games, so he's already shown okay. When some of these guys are hurt, he's reliable. Now that 2 of these guys, if not all the guys, are hurt, Otten's a must start. Excuse me, Otten's a must start this week, in my opinion. All right, I'm not saying he'd have 30 points, but I could definitely see him having a 15-point game versus the Lions, where they're going to have to pass the ball, knowing how good that offense is. So uh, get on him. Okay, get on Cade Otton, guys. He should not be on waivers. And I don't think we got to go any further, guys. One of those guys should be out there. Gadsden, Otton, and Jatavion Sanders. One of those guys should be out there. You guys should be okay at tight ends. You guys shouldn't be running into any tight end issues. Pretty sure. All right. So where are we at? All right, good. We're doing good. Only 25 minutes in. Let's get into some deep sleepers. So my very first deep sleeper out there, I can't wait to mention the guy. As you can see right here, I picked him up. And he was a guy we talked about in the offseason. Great story, great kid. Finally getting an opportunity. Jack Bech. Okay. This is the time. Nobody cares about him. He's just another joker on the waiver wires. Nobody cares about him. He's not sexy this week. You're not starting him this week. This is the time to go get him, guys. Second round pick for the Raiders this year. They liked him a lot. I thought it was weird. I just thought it was weird in the whole offseason. Everyone said, oh, Dante Thornton's better than him. Dante Thornton beat him out in minicamp. Dante Thornton beat him out in training camp. And Dante Thornton got the start through the first 4 games and he didn't do anything. So coming into week 5, Pete Carroll made a change and said, hey, Jack Bech is going to take some of his snaps. He did a little bit. And then last week versus Tennessee, he took all this Dante Thornton snaps, 75% snap share. And they were up at 20-3. So they didn't have to pass the ball at all. And, considering how Geno's been so turnover worthy, you can't pass the ball. You just didn't have to versus Tennessee. So Jack Bech at bare minimum, as you can see on the report, he is going to be the wide receiver 3 with Trey Tucker and Jakobi Meyers. And then, Brock Bowers is hurt, so we could discount him for now. But a lot of rumors have been going around about this Jakobi Meyers trade, and I could definitely see it happening. I think that's one of the. I've seen a lot of goofy trade rumors. I don't think Breece Hall's getting traded. I don't think A-Chain's getting traded. I don't think who else are they talk? Kamara, he's not going to get traded. Nobody wants those guys for considering they're those teams are going to want a 3rd, 4th round pick. Nobody's going to pay that. But with Jakobi Meyers. You only got to pay a 5th, 6th round pick. I think a team will definitely take a chance on that. This Pete Carroll regime, they didn't sign Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers is part of the Josh McDaniels regime, from that New England sort of play style. So they really don't they don't care about him. So they'd probably rather see Jack Bech on the field than Jakobi Meyers on a full-time basis because Jack Bech they invested a 2nd round pick into. So at the very worst, even with Meyers still there, we know that he's already on the field for 75% of the plays. And he's taking Dante Thornton snaps. If Jakobi Meyers were to get traded, this guy's going to be on the field every single play. And he's probably not going to pop off, but he could be a 10-point per game type of player. Very good red zone player, very good at the catch point. ultra competitor, and this guy's playing for his brother. If you guys watched the video in the off season where we talked about it was 2 up, 2 down, I went into the entire story about this guy. He's a good kid, man. I'm really rooting for him. Comes from LSU, transferred to TCU, played in the LSU room of Brian Thomas, Keyshawn Boutte, Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chase was even in there his first year. I mean, it was no wonder this guy was never going to play for LSU. I mean, he's not better than those guys. But TCU, he had over 1,000 yards last year. He showed he could play a little bit. Second round pick, the Raiders are dependent on him. They got a lot vested in this guy. I think it's a perfect free agency speculation ad. Get on Jack Bech now, guys. Nobody wants him. Nobody's on him. That's why we get on him now, because I guarantee you, next week, 2 weeks from now, all the waiver wire. Oh my God, get on Jack Bech, blah blah blah. Bid your house. We already talked about it with, how many guys? Kamani Vidal, Boutte. We were ahead on that. We were plenty of guys we were already ahead on. So Jack Bech, go ahead and get on him. We mentioned a little bit about Emmanuel Wilson and Gatson. Last guy I do want to mention too, Coker. Make sure you guys get on Coker. He's 27% rostered, so he's climbing in there. Let me check on Brian Robinson. What's his roster at? He's at 45%, so that's not really a speculation. I do want him. I just want make sure you just take a look at elite handcuffs, guys. Davis, just in case. Gordon, just in case. If you're kicking the tires, you want to add Blake Corum as well. He should probably be a little bit more rostered. I mean, he had that fumble which really killed him. He had 5 for 23 last week, which is okay. Shipley, okay. Brashard Smith's another guy. Possibly want to get on him. Pacheco's starting to get going a little bit. But just any high-end handcuff. Okay, high-end handcuff. Get on him. My top pick this week would probably be Emmanuel Wilson because Josh Jacobs is actually hurt going into the game. But my number one speculation ad is Jack Bech. All right. Now I do leave you guys with a pick, which I haven't done in a couple weeks, and we haven't been doing good on picks this year. We're down I think we're down 2 units. So I do want to give you guys a pick, and I was between a couple games, and let's see. It sounds silly. I kind of want to just take the Panthers on the money line. It sounds silly. I was looking at Jacksonville +4 if you could buy it up because Jacksonville, they do that. Those are really that's hard, man. Those are really my two picks. Jacksonville +4 if you could buy it up. A lot of money's been coming in on the Rams, and the NFL this year. I mean, last year the sports books got absolutely killed. They got absolutely killed because a lot of the favorites were winning. Kansas City was winning every single week. Detroit was winning every single week. Filthy was winning every single week. So the sports books got hammered in 2024. This year, they came back with a vengeance. And my God, how many dogs have won? They probably cleaned up on the Thursday game with the Bengals. Everyone was picking the Steelers. My God, I mean, we go on and on and on. I mean, how much did they clean up on Monday night? Atlanta beating Buffalo. They probably cleaned up on that game. What was the other game Monday night? I don't even remember. But sportsbooks have been cleaning up on the underdogs all year, so I kind of want to stick with the dogs. And I'll tell you what, let's go Jacksonville. I would go Carolina, but that's not really a team I want to lay points with, to be honest with you. And they could totally look over the Jets. You never know. So let's go with Jacksonville. Buy up to +4. Okay, just to be safe. Jacksonville's good in London. Trevor Lawrence is good in London. I am just a little bit worried because I think Sean McVay runs laps around Liam Cohen. I'm not saying Cohen's a bad coach, but I just think, the Rams are just a little bit better. But Rams favor down Puka. I think that's a little It's just a little much. So I'm going to go Jacksonville +4. Get on that. That's going to be our lock of the week. And there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, join the Discord if you have any questions. But until next Tuesday, I will see you then. Peace.